Offices come in a lot of shapes and sizes. Aaron Rachel sits on wheels. He's proud of his F-350, but he sure isn't excited about the amount of drama it's towing with it.
Makes me feel like a criminal.
He bought the truck at Auto Plaza USA, self-touted #1 dealer for 3 years, and celebrated with happy bright balloons and hundreds of shiny cars. Over the past month, our investigation has found unhappy customers, all with the same exact issue, a big state tax balance that fell to them.
I thought that it was a mistake, that there must be some kind of a clerical error or something.
Aaron Rachel received word from the Kentucky Department of Revenue saying he owed close to $1,000 because he says Auto Plaza USA didn't pay the county clerk the full taxes for the purchase of his truck. And now the Department of Revenue expects Rachel to make the payment, plus interest and plus penalties for the last 2 years.
So as far as the Department of Revenue is concerned, I'm responsible for paying the taxes, regardless if I gave them to Auto Plaza to send to them. If they failed to do that, the Department of Revenue doesn't care.
Same song, second verse for Matthew Cunningham.
Mostly they've just avoided me.
He only owes about $200 to the state. He paid the state to get them off his back, but he's staying on the dealerships.
It said it had been improperly registered and the appropriate registration tax was not paid.
And we found more complaints under the Better Business Bureau's F rating for Auto Plaza USA. Customers complaining one after another of incorrect taxes paid by the dealership to the state.
Yeah, just something that you think when you go to a dealership they're going to take care of, and they don't end up taking care of it, and it's just annoying. And then they won't call you back.
Yeah, let's get your side out on this.
But every story has two sides.
We try to help anyone, but at the end of the day, you can't help everyone.
But you owe them money.
No, I don't owe them money. How do I owe them money?
Manager Tim Neese says his dealership doesn't owe those customers a dime. He already paid the correct taxes to the county clerk and the state, and the cars were all transferred to the customers. Everything worked as it should on his end.
Then why are they getting bills saying that they're delinquent and past due and fees on top of that?
That is a wonderful question.
He says in all his years he's never seen a mix-up on money like this, but he's not paying for it.
I have nothing but empathy and sympathy for each one of these clients, and every one of them I have talked to, I have tried to do something, and there's...
Have you paid them?
There's been a lot of them that we've tried to help them with.
Have you been paying them back that difference?
One way or another, we have tried to do something to compensate them or help them in any way we can.
I don't feel like the answer is yes to that.
Well, the answer, you can talk to a lot of the customers.
We called the Department of Revenue time and time again, trying to get to the bottom of who's to blame. But the Revenue Department won't talk about this issue because it involves taxpayers. But the taxpayers, meaning the customers, want answers. And so does this manager.
At the end of the day, Auto Plaza USA did not collect money and not just pay it. We collected an amount of money and we paid.
This is one of those stories that's rippled into story
I thought that it was a mistake.
after story after story
It hadn't been paid.
from viewers, and they are all exactly the same.
So you see our story and you realize I'm not alone.
There were a lot of people who got hit with a lot bigger bills and who may very well not have been as lucky as I was.
About a month ago, we went to Auto Plaza USA in Nicholasville,
Yeah, let's get your side out on this.
asking manager Tim Neese why so many of the dealership's customers got bills from the state saying the full title taxes weren't paid on the cars they bought here, and the customers were left footing the difference plus interest.
We try to help anyone, but at the end of the day, you can't help everyone.
But you owe them money.
No, I don't owe them money. How do I owe them money?
Neese said at the time his dealership paid the correct taxes for the cars they sold. He doesn't know why the state is sending out bills to his customers saying they still owe title taxes.
This now still needs to add up to $10,500.
Lori Taylor bought a car from them 3 years ago.
It was obvious as soon as I looked at it. I knew exactly what they'd done.
Taylor did her financing through USAA, so when she got the tax bill from the Department of Revenue last month saying she still owed more than $200, she had paperwork proof that there was a problem.
What'd you think?
I immediately thought they're committing fraud.
Here's the electronic check from USAA to Auto Plaza USA for $10,500, the purchase price on the bill of sale. But check this out. This is the paper Auto Plaza USA sent to the state to get the title and registration. On it, the purchase price is $5,000.
So they told the state that you paid
$5,000 for that vehicle.
But you didn't.
I paid $10,500, which part of was meant for tax, title, and license.
And that explains the extra taxes the state says she owes, because Auto Plaza USA paid taxes on $5,000, not the price she paid for the car.
According to the paperwork I got from the state, they paid $300, and I owed another $270 something.
Many of the unhappy customers we've heard from wanted us to look at the ownership of the dealership, so we did some digging. The land is owned by Adnan Hassan, or Adam. He's owned it since 2000. He ran AH Corporation, which owned the former dealership that sat on the property, World Class Auto. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now let's introduce Amna Khatib. Khatib is the president of the United Group, which owns Auto Plaza USA. But here's where the two dealerships' worlds collide. Hassan owns the land that Auto Plaza USA sits on. And the website for Auto Plaza USA? Hassan registered it. And here's why you might care. World Class Auto was shut down by the state in 2010 for financial and moral unfitness, fraudulent sale, fraudulent misrepresentation, and violating the law regarding the sale of a vehicle.
Hey, hello? Hi, how are you? Is Tim Neeson?
We went back to Auto Plaza USA with Taylor's paperwork in hand. We wanted manager Tim Neese to see it. They weren't sure if he was there, so we waited. They then told us he wasn't there, but to call him. But they didn't have his number.
I will get up with him, and you don't have a phone number for your boss.
We did have his number from our first meeting.
At the tone, please record your message.
Hey Tim, Miranda Combs, WKYT, doing a follow-up on the title tax issue. If you could give me a call back, thanks so much. Hope to talk to you soon.
I thought that it was a mistake.
They didn't know where to turn.
It hadn't been paid.
They all had the same story to tell.
I never would have thought that we would be in a mess like this.
You came to us wanting answers.
Why is the state not going after the dealership? Why are we liable?
More than 1,000 customers hit with an unexpected bill from the Department of Revenue saying they didn't pay the correct amount of taxes for the car titles they bought at Auto Plaza USA. But they all said they did pay. They paid Auto Plaza for their car and their taxes and expected it to be handled from there.
Yeah, just something that you think when you go to a dealership they're going to take care of.
Matthew Cunningham was the first former customer to bring the tax bill to our attention. We then sat down with him 3 months later after our initial story.
It's this story that brought those people together and made something happen.
Because after that first story hit the air, we were hit with so many similar situations of people with big bills from the state that they didn't have the money to pay.
What'd you think?
And I immediately thought they're committing fraud.
Auto Plaza told us in April it wasn't their fault. They did nothing wrong.
Have you been paying them back that difference?
One way or another, we have tried to do something to compensate them or help them in any way we can.
I don't feel like the answer is yes to that.
Well, the answer, you can talk to a lot of the customers.
Not long after our investigation started, the state attorney general started reaching out to former Auto Plaza customers, wanting documentation of their car purchase.
They said that this was happening to a lot of people and they're investigating and they're going to get stuff done.
And they did.
I'm announcing that my office has filed a lawsuit against the United Group, Inc., better known as Auto Plaza USA.
The lawsuit filed is seeking more than $1 million from the dealership for collecting vehicle taxes from customers and then changing documents in order to avoid making the correct payment to the Department of Revenue.
What is the disconnect with the Department of Revenue? They're still coming after people for that money. Why is that?
Well, we're trying to work with the Department of Revenue. And I would say from our end at the Attorney General's office, we hope that they will be understanding, knowing that these people have been ripped off. that they will wait and that they will not charge any penalties.
There is still a lot to do to fix what the Attorney General calls fraud. But this, he says, getting money back to the customers is a step in the right direction.
Miranda.
Sir, should this dealership be shut down?
Well, in the end, we don't control who has those rights, those license to sell. I will tell you that the conduct that we have seen and that we allege in the complaint is egregious. And my number one priority is to make sure that the families that have been impacted, the families that shouldn't have to double pay taxes,
When we showed up at Auto Plaza USA in April, all we knew was a few former customers were telling us the dealership owed them money.
I have nothing but empathy and sympathy for each one of these clients, and every one of them I have talked to, I have tried to do something, and
Have you paid them?
There's been a lot of them that we've tried to help them with.
Auto Plaza manager Tim Neese hasn't talked to us since, but you know who did? Some former customers. Well, actually, a lot.
What'd you think? I immediately thought they're committing fraud.
By the end of the summer, Kentucky's Attorney General would count 1,400 Auto Plaza customers that got hit with an unfair bill from the state, saying they owed title taxes for cars they bought at the dealership. The AG slapped Auto Plaza with $1 million lawsuit for collecting vehicle taxes from customers and then changing documents in order to avoid making the correct payment to the Department of Revenue.
Miranda.
Sir, should this dealership be shut down?
Well, in the end, we don't control who has those rights, those license to sell. I will tell you that the conduct that we have seen and that we allege in the complaint is egregious.
The only group that can immediately shut down the dealership is the Motor Vehicle Commission. After the AG's lawsuit, they joined the mix.
The Motor Vehicle Commission staff began investigating Auto Plaza USA most recently in May of this year, shortly after the WKYT investigative report was aired.
But the Motor Vehicle Commission wouldn't go as far as shutting the dealership down. They just had Auto Plaza sign a contract saying they'd pay back all 1,400 customers, period.
So how many chances did they get?
I think that under the provisions of this consent decree, if they violate the provisions of this consent decree, then the Motor Vehicle Commission, again, has the right to act to revoke their license.
Then things got even more frustrating and slow. The AG's lawsuit met delays as Auto Plaza threw up roadblocks, and the Motor Vehicle Commission had hearings and broken promises from Auto Plaza. We'd hear some people getting their money back and others having to fight for it.
And I'm like, no. I'm going to leave here today with my money.
Then December came, and we started hearing Auto Plaza was refusing to pay anyone back. And we were hearing rumors the Motor Vehicle Commission had run out of patience. And here's the proof. On December 15th, this letter went to the dealership saying their dealer license won't be renewed on December 31st. It says, in part, having considered the application and other information of public record, the Motor Vehicle Commission hereby denies the renewal application for the dealer license. Therefore, you should cease all activity as a motor vehicle dealer until such time as you obtain a motor vehicle dealer license. So, the investigation that started because customers wanted money back ends with the dealership not getting their license back.